Good morning. Explain the two devils. The two from four devils, we went down to two devils. And it means that the devils are losing a little power. That's all. Still only got one bull up there, which has been the case for a long time. So if we turn into an actual bear market, they're supposed to be bears, but they look like devils. And we'll have to get more devils or switch the price, the screen. All right. Yeah. All right. So, as I said in there, bottoming patterns can be treacherous. And pretty much all of them are because they give you so many fake out moves because it takes a little while for you know, that bearishness to dissipate and the fear. And there was a tremendous amount of fear this time. Almost, it was like you would think a crash was going on. It was more of a shock, I think, than a crash because it wasn't a crash, but in the short term, things dropped pretty fast. Anyway, we have to go through a process of just looking at patterns and applying our method of determining the bottoming process. So, we talk about many of these things in the green room. And so here you had a momentum move. And we look at the distance between the lows. As momentum moves, the vast amount of the time, strong momentum moves result in another momentum move. More esoteric types of analysis, they call it waves and waves among waves and waves. It'll make you crazy anyway. So here was the next momentum move. And that give or take, without getting the protractor out, it's close to the same. And one of the concepts that we look for is slowing momentum. And do we have slowing momentum yet? Well, slightly. I mean, we had slowing momentum here. We had discussions at that point in the room as to a bottoming process here as we were looking at the intraday charts, which you can see on the cursor here. We were hopefully because we had a little bit of a bullish, neutral to bullish point of view as this process was going on over here. And maybe it was more in the S&P, I don't remember exact, but we were looking for it to maybe bottom out here and we'd go back up. And then it kind of, as this move started to pick up some steam, momentum, we started to get like, maybe this isn't going to happen. And then if you remember in the green room, I said, you know what? From this head and shoulders pattern that we was beginning to hope for the next leg up, or some attempt up to come up into here, I said, hey, this is starting to look more like a bear flag. And it made the next move. So here we are on this news here, jobless claims, market, gapping up here a little bit. Okay, apply the process. Where's it gapping up to? Is it taking out a prior bar's high? Heck no. Is it past the middle of that nasty red bar? No. The depth of retracement is not that significant. And what will it do here? Well, of course, if I knew that, wouldn't that be great? If I knew exactly what it would do, but if we figure it, I figure it's either got to have some kind of correction through time, maybe get another dip down, maybe we'll get a W, what we covered yesterday in MT Live. It's a process of trying to figure this all out. And we'll watch the chart bar by bar and see what it does. I mean, if we were to get a close up here today, I'd be like, okay, you opened here, you closed there. Have you made a bottom? No. No. Are you making a substantial move of some degree? Yes, because if you did that, at least you negated a red bar, hell of a big red bar. And then coming up into here, if that was going to be the case. But look, the ideal scenario in a bottoming process is to stay near the bottom. and have it build a little base, because the further it goes up here, the more you enter near the people that got caught, and it gets driven down again. That's one of the reasons why bottoming processes can be treacherous, because you got a whole bunch of losers just hoping to praying. They're on their knees that they're going to be able to get break even or narrow the losses. And so many bottoming patterns often will do this, and then they do this. And that's what makes them treacherous, because they give you a view that things are okay, and they're not okay. And they come back down, and the process goes on, typically to where you get that larger process of creating a substantial support area. So you got to put our expectations in alignment with what is, not what we want. And as we look at the weekly chart, you can see this depth of retracement here is down on major support. That's makes things neutral, still in an uptrend, or we could say it's a sideways trend because of the depth of retracement. The people with the connecting the dots have seen a broken trend line. I remember this book. I always mention this because it is in alignment with my point about indicators. And it's an old book. It was called Winner Take All. The guy traded commodities. Last name I believe was Gallagher. Didn't believe in technical analysis, which kind of way back those years, I was like, this guy wants to shake my beliefs. I don't like that, but you know what? I'll look at the book. And he related technical analysts to still being like children. That your mom gave you this book with dots and numbers, and you would connect the dots to the numbers. You could go from 1 to 2, and it taught you how to count and draw. And it's like technical analysis is still connecting the dots. And I probably at that time I used to draw trend lines and fib lines and so on. And I was like, made me think, am I just a dot connector, or is he has some truth to what he said? And so it evolved into what we do today. And it's like, if you connect these dots, if you choose to, and you see how the trend is broken, well, it's still in definition, possibly making a higher low. But if it breaks under that low, it's going to break your trend line every time. So who needs to connect dots? So anyway, it's here now. It's on this major support. So far, it's holding this week. So far, it's a bit of a rejection, not a big deal. And can it take another week? But another week would be good, right? Or maybe 3 weeks, like here, 3 weeks would be great if we could go back and forth here, making that bottoming process of building a stronger base where the markets can lift up from and then advance to wherever they're going to advance from there. All right, let's clean this up, and I will go quickly through the other markets, and we'll get to SPX real quick because they're going to zero out the numbers. All right, so same story, big nasty red bar, and the spiders there. Where are we at? Hey, Sam from India, how you doing, buddy? Where is this? Copper up here. In the lower half, almost to the middle of the red bar, gapping up. A good start, a decent start. As you look at the 15-minute and the 65-minute, no big deal. Right? You had a big momentum move down here. It broke the pivot low. Trying to hold here. It's in the middle of no man's land, so to speak. There's resistance up above. Maybe it can get up there. Maybe it can't. Maybe it goes back down. Maybe it goes sideways here. We're still going to deal with some messy price patterns. That's just the way it is. IWM, where's that? WM. Maybe a little bit stronger in the middle of the red bar there. Came off of here pretty nice, and it is right into resistance on the 15-minute chart. You can see those pivots there, but another momentum move down into resistance. Let's see how it deals with that resistance. Right? You're welcome, Sam. Keep them coming. Tell your friends you're in India. All right, so um, a good start for the day, but is it a significant start? No, no, because it's going to be part of a bottoming process. We got to keep things in check because we are who we are. So we got to look at the charts, and that's where we get our bias from. All right, so not bad. We'll see what it does. It'll come back down, whatever it's going to do here. Nasty move to the downside. Takes time for that to dissipate. All right. So let me go back here for a second. X. And see where we're at there. Kind of at that bar's close, give or take. And then I go to SPX. And this is where SPX will be, give or take. Then we go to the option chain. We see how far away can we get from at the money. Doesn't mean it's going to be at where that's going to be in the morning. I see where's there a dollar? How far away is a dollar? I'll give or take here. 53, 55, 53.50. And so I do this. This is so simple. And you got all these services out there. People pay decent amount of money to give them an idea what credit spread to do on SPX every day. Anybody can do this. Well, anybody can do this part of the process, figuring it out intraday and what's going on. That could be a little more tricky. Anyway, so we're here. I just look at this and I go over another chart over here and I look at what the average true range is. And right now it is about 5-day average true range is about 157 points. And could we even consider going 157 points up today? So that's about 100 points. Could it get up there? And then I think to myself, with this technical pattern, would it be unusual for this to go from here to there based on technical patterns? Hell yeah. Now, if the markets continue up, you could probably get above that. That would be fine. So it's a higher probability. Now you got to go a decent amount wide. Now, some say, you know what? Okay, I know where the outer edge is. Now, if I can get closer to get premium without going so far wide, maybe you're more comfortable with that. Nothing wrong with it. But figure where the greater probability of the outer edges, because the numbers that I give you on a day-to-day basis, I can't tell you exactly and give you a spreadsheet, but I just know by doing this long, probably greater than 99% of the time, they never get there. 50.90. Pretty close to where it was yesterday. Well, I think I moved that. I don't think that was that's where we ran out. We ran out of the time and they zeroed it out. All right. So look at how far the spread is from the extremes. Now, when this starts to tighten up here, these numbers are going to get closer together. They're not going to be no-brainers anymore. But is it likely to go down there today? Hell no. And this one's below a whole number. So that's your no-brainer. Now, if you want to get closer, like it's up here and say, hey, 51.90, that's 100 strikes. You want to go, you figure, they just zeroed it out. So you get the idea. You're at here, 51. And that's 51.50. My eyes are not so good this morning. So, coming here, there's some support or a little bit below it. So you from here to here, in here, getting tighter is reasonable. All right, other markets. What are our semiconductors doing? Gapping up a bit. Same kind of thing. As I was looking things before we started talking here, everything was before the number came out, everything was about unchanged, give or take where it was. And now, they came up on the news and okay, so big news event, relatively big anyway. And little gap up is not all that significant. Financials, bit of a better gap up there, a little bit better. Um, and so look at this doesn't update as much, but that's better. Gapping up near the close to the top of that. So regional banks, a little bit relative strength in comparison there. Um, so biotechs, biotech's doing here, and the bottom of the bar there. So kind of measuring some components of the Russell to see how they're doing. But mixed message there. And Bitcoin. Hand it over to Dan. So whipping around here, trying to hold that 200 and just whipping back and forth. I don't think that's over yet, but maybe you can advance. Take a look at gold. Not bad. Came back in hard. We need to see a close. Might have something to start there. Silver, not good. Energy, back down to the bottom of the range. Wide range bar yesterday. Trending down on major support. Let's build a little bit of a bottom there. See if energy stocks begin to get it together. And interest rates up on the day a bit after a collapse. So a little bit of a reprieve from the big fear in let's see, transports. Get it data, but look, it's trying to make a bottom here. It'll take a little bit of time. Keep it in perspective. You would have thought the markets had dropped 30% with a VIX move like that. So definitely an exaggerated element of fear, but let's see what happens in the coming days and weeks as to a little more recession jitters. I mean, today will be another back and fill day. So take it slow. All yours, Dan.
Good morning. Yeah, we had some beautiful trades on that VXX. And as you know, I was looking to short it again yesterday, but we decided to hold off because of this number. But it would have worked. I was looking at selling the 90s for Friday. It's still, you aren't going to get the premium, that it was up there, but it still has room to fall. So I'll keep an eye on it. All right, let's go right to earnings. I don't have any alarms going off. And I agree with everything Greg said, swing, etc. But with this bullish turn on the 15 and this being a Thursday, a lot of the fangs have nice reversals. I am going to be looking for 1 DTE put spreads within the first hour here, like everything, to see how we hold. But that is my bias. I read in the journal that this thing had a $10 billion loss. So that's gapping all-time lows. Ugly. Well, these are earnings that I'm going through right now. Hood, nice gap. So with the gap today and a lot of sell setups and a void, I also think we're going to get a number of setups that are measured moves higher. This is a potential one. 30-minute high. So let's keep an eye on the hood. Bitcoin's up nice. Delta 20, YouTube asking about LRN long. it needs to, I don't have a pattern to go long, Delta. It's a gap, big old gap from a buy setup, topping tail, breakout failure 15. I don't know what time frame you're trading, but just put it in a 5 or 15 minute chart. I just don't have a setup here. Look at FSLI. I said yesterday, look at the monthly. I said that looks like that's in trouble. Yeah, that's an ugly gap. Said G is a solar stock. That is a nasty daily, weekly, monthly. All-time lows. And this is a solar stock. Um, I got Duolingo on the other computer. I'm just gonna put it here. If this thing just nastily sells off into the 10 or 1030 reversal and get a reversal bar, I'll consider a 1 DTE put spread. But Biden's Green New Deal trying to shove EV stocks down everyone's throat and solar panels. We've had this talk before. The stock market is not agreeing with it. All right, so tan, we'll see what that does. With said G being in there. NRG, sure. Well, it's gapping up, so just set an alarm. Um, just set an alarm down here at 72.40. See if it gives it up. Leslie Pool, 288 over yesterday's high is a red bar ignored breakout bottoming pattern. Zulu Golf, gaps are too big. Brothers getting whacked. I don't even know what this company does, but that's a big old gap. No pattern yet. Monster. Um, that's an ugly gap, but to the prior low. Let's see what that does. Oh, there's MTR right here. No, that's different. Energy, never mind. This, no pattern, but it's breakdown daily, weekly, monthly. Yeah, I saw Bumble percent wise. This is monstrous negative gap to all-time lows. This thing was $84. If this doesn't get bought out, that is having major problems. What's Match's cousin doing? All right, so that's down. I'm, you know, obviously guessing on the heels of Bumble. 34, so there's no pattern, but this one holding, this, what this reminds me of Uber. Uber, well, Uber's neutral right now, but look at these poor Lyft. Look at Lyft is the Bumble. This is Bumble of the two cousins. Yeah, thanks, Don. Beyond Meat. If this doesn't get a turnaround story, that looks like that's going to zero. I'm gonna set an alarm at 5:25. That's a small gap up here, so if it can't hold the gap, SM, yeah, I saw that gap 42. You can watch it on a pullback, but uh, if we're lucky enough to get any juice, 1 DTE put spread, gap's too big, Aspen space. That's a nasty downtrend. Brothers. Oh, we already talked about brothers. Okay, so where did I go? All right, here we go. No pattern, but if it does gap up and take out 30-minute high, put spread idea, a sell setup, let me set an alarm at 100 spot 40. And look, I already did that. See? That reminds me of the haircut. They come back and check, whether they clipped it right. It's like, yeah, did it right. This is my approach. I look at the pattern and I have the same thought every time. It's the haircut. Well, this I don't have a bias. ODD. All right, this I like a lot. I have it in the middle chart here. The problem is I don't see any prints. But if this is gapping to 42.50, 10-minute high. VSAT saying there's not good volume, but prints at 20. That's a put spread. Duolingo, I like a lot for a put spread. This is a pro gap. Downtrend, gapping over a red bar. 30-minute high could be a directional, but I'm going to be watching this for a put spread at the open. I'm not going to even look until 5 minutes goes by, but let the spreads tighten a little bit. Frog here, I'm putting in my disaster gap list. This, no pattern, will come back. Boot 126, put spread idea. That looks great. I'm gapping over all that. These are great 1DT put spreads, you all, if we get premium. Gapping over 4 bars with a void. So that I like a lot. NVMI, excessive gap, 202. Yes, but tell me what you want to do with it. I don't have a bias. All right, Leslie pool alarm. See it just popped there. We'll come back to it. HGV, that's Hilton Grand Vacations. Yeah, I'll put that in my excessive gap list. Hubs, 492, big gap, put spread if there's any juice, ATO. I have an alarm already to the downside. It's a Climo with a big old rounding top. If it opens flat, you can short yesterday's low. DLB is a continuation pattern. Breakdown daily, weekly, monthly. Ramp, nothing. McKesson, I have in my excessive gap list. This sell setup, 30-minute low. Zip. Zip. That's nasty. No interest. You're swimming upstream, as I say. All right. Yeah, this one I sold the 660 puts naked, down from 970, down over $200 in a month. So, of course it could have gapped down $100 and been in my face, but this is our approach. Down 200 points, stabilizing on support into earnings. So, Don, what I'll be doing, just because it's a margin hog, my strategy, I'll go up as high as I can and buy whatever put I can for a penny. LNW alarm. Okay, sell setup. So now I'll just set a new alarm here. 100 spot 15. ATO alarm. Hey, said G, bottom right. All right, yeah, this was the one I said you could short under these lows. Or call spread rather. That's a better call spread pattern. All right, said G as buyers at the open. Amazing. I wouldn't have expected it. All right, let me look at $19 puts now for tomorrow. It's still very risky, selling puts on earnings, within the first freaking minute. But that's 3 cents by 78. See what a friggin' jerk off. LNW alarm. This will be a fantastic 10-minute low. Oh, RHI up alarm at 61. We're short that. Um, all right, let me see what our cost basis is. Is 61.19. So, you know me and my tight management. Do we move it to break even? Or could that be right where it stalls? I don't know. There's no reason for a 61.19 stop other than break even. What do y'all think? It's a bear 1, 2, 3 if it closes like this. I just hate turning winners into losers. I hate that. Well, Sam, welcome, number one. Number two, the plan involves managing once you're in flight, right? So that's the part. That's the part I'm struggling. We're in flight right now, managing. And I just had an alarm go off, which is forcing me to consider it. But now that we've stalled here, I feel a little better with break even. Damn, Alex said you were riding a Vespa. You were riding a Vespa through the Grand Canyon or something like that. You'll have to explain that later. All right, we have a put spread on Zulu Sierra. That's gapping up. So we can move stop yesterday's low now, 166.05. This is Zulu Sierra and expires tomorrow. Oh, I said bid 2 cents half. We might be out right now. Let me check. 157, 152. No, we're not out yet. Damn, somebody said you went to India to drive a rickshaw. Tell me that's not true. no pen. Um, oh, wow, look, this LNW went up. So remember I had a low alarm as a short. All right. Oh, my favorites. Let me focus on Duolingo. Boot. Let there be juice at 165. Oh, there's no weeklies. There is juice, but they're spready. 160, 150 is a dollar right here. Um, $1.12 right now. All right, this is my trade idea. I'll post it once I get settled down a little bit. All right, ODD. Okay, I thought that was getting over the thing. It's not. TEM. No, this is a recent IPO I was watching, but I'm not doing anything. All right, let me see on my Lily now what I can buy for a penny. Wow, believe it or not, I cannot go higher to buy a penny. So I'm just gonna bid the one I'm in, the 660s for a penny. And you know what? If I don't get filled, I don't even care. I'll let it expire worthless. All right, these other excessive gaps, MCK, absolutely nothing. Wow, TKO. TKO. I told Alex about this pre-market gap breakout after downside shakeout, but shoot, that's a gap and go. Shoot. All right, brothers, nothing. Bumble, maybe put spread. Let me put that there. HGV. Yeah, that's a big pop. There's no weekly, and the $30 puts are zero by $1.50. So I'm gonna do the same old market making. Good. I'm gonna go low off for a $1.20. What's the merit? What's merit? Now see, this is a pattern that could do a measured move higher. I would like it to take out yesterday's low though. Um, Hilton, nothing. Hyatt stopped us out yesterday. What's the here, I'll look it up. Marriott vacation. I should have known that. Vake. All right, Vake looks horrible. So there is a massive disconnect between these vacation companies and the main hotel.